Okay, I'd like to welcome the board regular meeting for August 2nd. I'd ask that everybody please turn off all cell phones and electronic devices, and assisted listening devices are available for the I ask that everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You're muted.
Oh, hold on 1 second. Okay. Two pilots. The first one for Will Auto Care LLC on Ward Road, special use permit. Mr. Timothy Fowler, 21 Niagara Street. Go ahead, could you step up to the microphone, please? I'm sorry, Ben, do you need to read? One step there. She's got to read the public hearing. Oh, I know. Sorry. Take that away from me.
Notice of a public hearing, Town of Lewiston Town Board. Please take notice that a public hearing will be held by the Town of Lewiston Town Board on the 22nd day of August 2022, commencing at 6 p.m. at the Town Hall, 1375 Ridge Road, Lewiston, New York, to hear and consider the following properties. Owner applicant is LMK Realty, North Ridge Drive, Lewiston, Niagara County, New York, to consider application for a planned unit development expansion for a 10-unit apartment complex on North Ridge Drive, adjacent to the existing planned unit development at that location. And the second public hearing is for owner applicant Wilco Auto at 5882 Ward Road, Sanborn, Niagara County, New York, to consider application for a special use permit and site plan approval for an auto repair shop. All interested parties will be heard by the Town of Lewiston Town Board at said public hearing. The applications are available for review at the Town of Lewiston Building Inspector's office during normal business hours. By order of the Lewiston Town Board.
Please forgive me.
So, kind of speaking for my neighbors, people, I think the board needs to take this into consideration and see if we can solve some of these issues.
It's allowed with a special use permit.
It is one of the identified designations for a special use in that area.
Yes.
Okay, the second thing is talking about Mr. Massaro's expansion.
Do me a favor, we're just talking about now, and so one at a time.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
That was a question, is
Okay.
whether that or not that was identified, because you guys, in your zoning, okay, in your code, you have only a limited number of special uses designated for these different areas. My concern is, okay, whether or not following that code, or as I pointed out before, you guys need to go back to 2012, when you adopted this code, look at some of these areas again to see if the special uses be expanded to allow for other business activity on this town. Town cannot function just having residential homes. It has to have businesses to be able to support the population. And, you know, I've said this before. You guys have the authority to make those changes. Okay? I do want to speak about
Okay, thank you. Okay. No one signed up in regards to Wilco. Is there anybody else here that would like to speak in regards to Wilco? Sure, yeah.
Spoke up before, I think Tim, you know, about those cars parked along the side, on both sides. If we could put something in on, proposal for us, or it gets officially passed, it would help. We've had issues, a lot of those.
I have some concerns just from some complaints I've received, the building department's received. So there are 4 issues that we wish to address with this property. The building department, I'm going to read it. The building department, assessor's office recommends the business 110 that parcel because the property is so tight. Individually. Also for taxes, Linda Johnson will not have to split the assessment between multiple parcels. That's 1. 2, the building department recommends a parking layout be submitted encroachment at Niagara and Ward Road or Buffalo Street. It is very hard to see south on Ward when they have the cars parked so close to the road and would help with emergency services if the cars were parked in an orderly fashion. And Tim, I believe you told me you'd be willing to work with them on that, correct? 3, the sewer department needs a sewer compliance inspection to verify the sewer and drainage comply with the new stormwater and sewer regulations. And 4, once the special use permit is approved, a building permit and engineered drawings will be required to convert a cold lumber storage building to an automotive repair use. And then you got S1 listed there. What's S1?
Storage 1 would be the occupancy classification.
Okay. So, and I believe that's what brought us to this matter in the first place. So, those are 4 issues we would like to see resolved before we make any approval on a special use permit for Wilco. And taking into consideration Mr. Filer's complaints as well. Anybody else wish to speak in the matter? Okay. No, it's motion to close the public. Sorry, there will be no action taken on Wilco tonight. So moving on to LMK Realty Associates, Mr. Murniak, whoever wants to go first.
Again, John Murniak, Rich Road here in Lewiston. You know, we've been here before with Mr. Massaro's expansion, and all the neighbors were against him being allowed to expand. You guys have made a zoning change and allowed him to change from a single-family home to a PUD and incorporate it in with his existing complex that he has there. You know, it's an unfortunate situation for residents, okay? They're against it, okay? But you guys are going to continue to move this forward and allow him to build these 10 units. Eventually it's going to happen, all right? What bothers myself and my son, okay, is regarding his property, and all we hear is none of the neighbors want it. So therefore, the board won't do anything to help to accommodate him for this property. So I think there, you know, it's a investigated further in how you guys manipulate who you want to do what in this town. You know, so again, I don't know if any more of my neighbors are here, but we were against it, you know, back in February or whenever we were here. And it still continues to go down the road. So like I said, you guys are gonna end up approving it. But for any other resident in town that wants to try to do something because of small business, say, it's not gonna happen, okay? You guys won't change your rules, you have to come up with a special use addendum, you know, like I said, go back to 2012 and what can be allowed and what cannot be allowed, and you find that there are other small businesses that want to come into this town, but there is no commercial property that's for sale. That's the problem, okay? And in certain areas, like that transitional area, okay, that was supposed to be, because there's other businesses up there, that was supposed to be an area that you guys were considering, okay? I'm not gonna say it was gospel that you were gonna change anything, but you were considering, you know? The guy on the corner of Garlow that wanted to do something, you know, he wanted to do something, but the neighbors are against it. Oh God, we don't wanna do anything. Well, come on, guys, you know that at the end of the day, in order for this town to grow, it can't just be residential units. We need to have businesses to help support that. The village has businesses, obviously, okay? But some of those businesses that want to come here can't move into the village and they don't have space there. But the town has space, but it's all zoned in certain areas, zoned so that the only thing that can be there is residential. And the special uses category isn't broad enough to allow for other businesses to move into those areas, okay? And I mean, I just would like the same consideration that you are giving Mr. Massaro, okay, through this whole process. Give the same amount of consideration to these other businesses, besides my son. I know other businesses have come and talked to the town about, can we find something here? And I believe what I heard from at least one was, well, there's nothing available, okay? But I'll be willing to bet, money that if Wegmans grocery store chain wanted to put a grocery store in the town of Lewiston and compete with Tops Markets, you guys would somehow bend over backwards to try to make that happen. But we do need competition. Competition's good. So just asking for that consideration that you guys know that you've shut down my son as far as him doing anything with his property, but I don't think that is right. I think you guys have the ability to make changes or to modify or addendum to the zoning in that area or something. But you can't use the excuse that the neighbors don't want something, because we proved, Mr. Massaro, the neighbors didn't want it. Let's move forward.
Thank you.
And I did want to speak later about something else.
Okay.
Matt and Maria, 708 Ridge. I spent the whole day knocking on doors, making phone calls with my neighbors. I didn't have one neighbor tell me that they were okay with Massaro moving forward, because it's not just this building he's gonna put up now, it's further on down the road. He's gonna put another one up. He's gonna move up closer to Ridge Road. And the traffic, you know, I walk out to get my mail, almost get hit by cars. I know your stance is it's a state road, it doesn't matter. You guys can't do anything. I get that, but when all the neighbors, I mean, I've talked to 12 different neighbors today, 11, sorry. None of them want this. You guys are moving forward anyway. So I guess what it comes down to is it just, you know, is it money, the tax money? This isn't the way democracy works. I've been running around for 2 years told I can't do anything because I have neighbors. Well, I'm a neighbor to Massaro's project. I don't want this. And it moves forward anyway. So I would like the board to acknowledge it's money. Money, it's who you know, it's.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say. Guys.
Would anybody else like to speak in regards to LMK Realty Associates? Yes, sir.
Tom Mara, I live at 690 Ridge Road, which is directly across the street. My biggest concern is those trees. I look out, I've got beautiful green space to look at. Considering how much speed is on that road, I'm worried about more traffic. I've talked with the police department before. The DOT does nothing as far as the speed limit there. Okay? It should be 30 miles an hour. I don't want more traffic because how many times I pull out of my driveway, I've been close to being hit. The horns are blowing, the trucks are going by, my house shakes. Okay, our biggest industry that's down here, you know, you don't want to do anything about that, but their trucks are the worst offenders. And so are the village trucks. And so are every other truck that goes by my house. I can sit in my back room, in my sunroom, and I can hear a truck coming down the street. Gentlemen, come to my house, have coffee, sit there and listen to what I have to listen to. I don't want more traffic. And I don't want to leave the green space either.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Yes, sir. Take your time.
Getting old. David with 702 Ridge Road.
I'm sorry, what's your last name?
With WHITT. And I've been fighting this same fight for 25 years now. I lived here 30. And the traffic, you're just not planning for the traffic, just like the other guy. I was getting my mail this morning, I almost got hit by 2 cars. I know you gotta deal with the state, I've been hearing that for 25 years, and that's a shame. But sooner or later, this is just gonna building and building, you know, this 8 units or whatever is, you know, may not, there's gonna be more. And you either need a traffic light or a turning light. And until somebody gets killed, I guess nobody wants to be bothered to do it. But, you know, all I've heard for 25 years is, well, you know, we got to deal with the state, it's a state road. Well, maybe somebody should make the effort. Because as the one fellow said, there is a neighbor there that hates what's going on. We should do some serious planning about your traffic. Just kind of putting off and hoping nothing will happen. And it's like a drip, 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 sooner or later it will.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes.
Roberta Gibbs, 716 Ridge Road. Where the cars turn on to North Ridge, where Massaro has that piece of property that he's eventually going to build on, cars stop to make that left-hand turn and speed out. Instead of waiting, they go on the soft shoulder around the vehicles. And it's not, excuse me, 1 or 2 cars. You have 5 or 6 cars running on the soft shoulder. School's gonna start. There are kids out there to catch a bus. When is that gonna be stopped and deterred? And you're right, the speed is 40. I doubt that very many cars even do 40. I'll bet you they do 45, 50. I could sit there with the radar going. I'll pick them up for the cops. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, he has to close the public hearing.
Move to close the public hearing for LMK Realty.
Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There will be no action taken as far as approving LMK Realty's property at this time, so that'll close that. Now we'll go to our, real quick, we'll go into our board meeting and then we'll go back to resident statements, because I know you want to say something else, Mr. Berniak. Agenda approval. I have 2 things to add. One second. I have a change order. Oh, okay, yeah, but I'm gonna do that as part of the change order as part of, our Lower River Road Park. That's on the agenda. Bear with me 1 second. And that's all I have. Al, do you have anything as far as,
No, I think we can cover everything with the headings that are already on the agenda.
okay. Anybody else have any?
Yes, I got 2. I need an approval to replace the decorative lights to LED. There's 84 lights. And also, I'd like to go out to bid for a fence on the south side of the Essex development on the town property. And the name of the road is the Village Green. I'd like to get bids for a fence there.
Okay, anybody else?
Steve, I got a couple.
Go ahead.
One is, you want to do those fire department appointments. Lewiston 2, is it?
Yes, that'll be under mine, yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. It is a, addition of a fireman for Lewiston 2.
Then I have some changes on mine. I believe it's just gonna remove entirely the Wilco for tonight, special use permit.
Yes.
Okay. And same with LMK, we're gonna remove it tonight, not gonna take any action.
Correct.
Okay. Then I do wanna add some police, 4 positions, we're gonna do some stuff with appointments, basically.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Mr. Supervisor, do you have to do anything with respect to the email from Mr. Seaman
Yes.
and the
So,
public law?
yep, we have to introduce a local law, so that'll be under legal. Local law.
I'm good with that.
Okay, I think that's it. As for approval as amended.
Move to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Before we get to you, Mr. Murniak, we have a young gentleman, a Boy Scout by the name of Ryan Edward Davis, who worked on a cemetery project for his Eagle Scout. Mrs. Maggard, would you like to?
Yes, he brought you all gifts.
Oh.
For the cemetery? I don't think.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
bring you this time.
Do you have one, Mrs. Maggard?
Pardon?
Do you have one?
Yes, I sure do.
Okay.
4 years ago, if you remember, we had a Boy Scout that came and he cleaned up the old Scoville Way Cemetery down on the ridge in behind the barn. So it was quite overgrown and everything. And you remember that. But 4 years later, nothing had been done. And the Boy Scouts went down, looked at it, and determined something needed to be done. It was completely overgrown again with limbs and things. So they went to do it. I would like to introduce to you Ryan Edward Davis. He's the Boy Scout that worked, and his Boy Scout grandmother, leader, Sandy Cook. So, Brian, take it away.
Like a celebrity. Alright. So, if you guys want to open up the binders, it's just a general overview on like what the process of cleaning your air is like. So, they're marked by the date taker. And your first section is this process, like right before we got there, when we were exploring. So the first picture is no foundation. Second picture is the process of trying to find it. It was so overgrown that we had to spend a solid, which 40-ish, trying to dig it up, find one of those tombstones.
We actually walked by it all the way to the clear behind, and I had to come back.
Yeah, it was hard to find. Keep going through, you can see that, like, first section is just a bunch of pictures showing, like, just how overgrown it is. Everything possible to find. The second section, which May 2022, is when we started to work on it. And yeah, same thing, all the pictures that are there, it's just a process of us going in there and clearing out. We started with the pathway, which we just kind of took some weed whackers, cleared that out so everything could get a solid path down. Once we reached the graveyard, we started doing heavy stuff out with the whackers. Determined it was kind of top five right there. It was hot. Nonetheless, we did get through it, and in the end, we had the entire thing cleared out.
It's amazing.
A little bit of the outer walls to try and get stuff from seeping back in. You see the last couple pictures are just showing you all about that. Then you see there's a picture of a fawn, or a fawn.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we started working on it, we found it. I think the mother ran off and was hiding. I need to see it up close. Now, I did this about 2 months ago, the clearing up process, and within that 2 months, the light stuff flooded back at night, because when we cleared out the heavy stuff, it allowed all the dying stuff to all get recovered. And unfortunately, it pretty much overtook the entire yard in 2 months.
It's in here.
So,
Overgrown.
I don't think just going down there over time and just like getting a quick layout is going to work. Just how fast it grows down there, which is why I'd like this to be taken a little bit further. And if we could get like a commercial herbicide down there once or a few times a year, just to try and see if we can get out of control. On top of all the light stuff. Below, it's also completely covered in poison ivy. That stuff came out. I can't really bring them down there with leaf axis stuff from the ivy and tell that could cause some injuries.
The one picture before the fawn, is that a lot of vines that are there? That are piled up, I think 2 pictures, are those vines that are growing throughout?
I think that might be, the tarp, because what they did was when they cleaned, they put everything on top of the tarp, and then we pulled it out. That might be what you're looking at.
Well, if you look at the second picture from the fawn, it looks like it's some type of brush. I couldn't tell if that was all vines. I know how the vines
Oh,
do.
there were vines in there, yeah.
Yeah.
Could be wild
Those
grape.
things that are sticking up are things that we couldn't quite get out.
So this, is this something that we can work, because obviously he's moving on, right? He's gonna, is this something that going to, because we don't, obviously I agree, every 4 years, to go back down there and fight this, we hate to see anybody waste their time. I mean, it's absolutely valuable, but if we can work out some type of an agreement, and the town would support that.
All right, I am the committee chair for
Okay.
the Boy Scout troop. We have discussed this as a group in our adult meeting. We've also discussed it with the boys. Troop 855 is willing to take this on as a community service project. We'll go down twice a year. We'll clean it up, but we cannot put the boys down there with the poison ivy and the things that are down there now. We need help.
Okay.
An industrial pesticide has got to be used because the poison ivy is this high down there.
Okay.
When Ryan and I went down earlier this month, it was just like, whoa, because everywhere we cleaned, the light was getting through, and that's what broke.
The initial plan was actually when we were going down and see if we had to give like a quick little backup, but once we saw the boys and we couldn't shoot on this.
I've been down there twice during the last project, and obviously the trees weren't down there like they were that last time.
The trees have not grown back.
Right, yeah. So that was good to see, but obviously it doesn't take long to be forgotten.
Nature takes over.
Yes. So what I will do is let's take care of honoring this fine young gentleman tonight, and then we can talk.
Okay.
And maybe I'll have a professional go down there and look at it and see what
We've
they.
actually had Seth Raby go down with us.
Okay.
And he suggested that we come to you, lay it all out, agree to do a community service project twice a year, and ask that you help us out with some sort of commercial herbicides.
Dave Train, can we call Seth Raby a professional?
I just suggested to mention, I think Wednesday, Thursday, we're going to be pretty busy, but next week, we have a good job for them.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely work. Knowing that, because like I told Mrs. Maggard, we can go down there and then if it sits and,
Right.
but if you're willing to take on this project, we would definitely be willing to support you.
Okay.
Okay? So we can talk.
It's a beautiful cemetery, and
Yeah.
there are a lot of stones that you can actually read the names and the dates.
Yeah.
And it should be accessible to the people who want to do research.
Are they all Scovilles?
There's Scovilles, Evans, and Ways.
Okay.
They're all three names there, and there's a collection of different ones.
What were the dates? What were some of the dates on the markers?
They go back to like the mid-1800s.
So,
Remember that, Bill?
So what I want to do is I want to take this moment to acknowledge Ryan and thank you, commend you for what you've done. So we'll take it, but we don't have anything to present you, and I'm going to blame this on Mrs. Maggard. So Mrs. Maggard changed our logo, and all the kids with the logo are gone, and we're waiting for the new ones to come in. So what I would like to do is present you with a certificate once you obtain your Eagle Scout and acknowledge the project and everything like that. So just keep me posted on when. I just went to one 2 weeks ago. So real quick, can we take a picture with the board? Okay. Maggard.
Yes.
No, you don't have to crouch down.
No, you don't have to crouch, you're fine. Just give me a second, just fire me up my.
And in the back, where I'm always. Thank you.
You got it, buddy.
Mr. Bagley, that goes.
Sandy,
I turned my phone off, I had to wait for it to turn back on. Okay. Thank you very much.
We went down there much later and it was all over.
just said, my God, where's my Flying to the leaves. Did you see the people in the paper, what's the flower of the week? Weeds grow faster.
Go out on the sidewalk. Okay, now we're back to resident statements. Mr. Murniak.
Congratulations. A few years ago, I was in Scotland too, so. Anyhow, I got a couple of things. One, I understand Dave Train's leaving, right? I know Dave to my son's business. I want to just say that he is an individual and has been a blessing to this town. Okay, he goes out of his way to help residents. He is what I would epitomize all of you guys to take that type of an attitude and want to step forward like years ago in this town when board and everybody was there to help residents through difficult periods of time. But anyway, Dave, short time, but you're gonna clap later for you.
You guys can clap for him.
We're gonna do better than that.
Okay, I want to talk for a minute about a subject, okay? In terms, and I bring this up again about you guys with your code in 2012, you adopted this code, right? But you made changes to the code when different situations arose. When the solar facility went into this town, immediately realized that our code didn't address it broad enough to encompass that, right? So what did you do? You went forward, investigated, you did all these different things to be able to come up with a new code now so that anybody else that comes forward has some kind of a guideline to put in a solar facility, right? Again, on another situation in a town, drainage individual, I understand, the drainage pipe that was too small, so you guys went in and adopted, made a modification to the code, and put in a requirement for an engineer to size the pipe that goes into a drainage ditch. Now, my son on his property bought a piece of property in town, you guys are aware of it, has a leg of Mill Creek that runs through that. Has a 4-foot diameter pipe in there that's been there probably for 30 years, handling the flow, if it can't handle the flow because all of these ditches are overgrown. You handle the flow beautifully, okay? Mr. Masters said, well, on my time, I can't buy out that 4-foot pipe being adequate. So my son went and bought a 5-foot pipe, which is equivalent to what the state has under Route 31, Saunders Settlement Road, should be adequate. Common sense would say that, well, we did a good job. It's bigger, to handle the flow, no problem. But no, code says you have to have an engineer approve that. Well, the town has major drainage issues elsewhere in the town too, okay? The town has an engineer. The engineer should be the one that says, is it things adequate or not adequate, all right? I encourage each one of you board members, you're coming back on Route 190, coming back to Lewiston. Just before Whitmer Road, there's a sign there that says Mill Creek. Okay, stop. Take a look at what that creek looks like. It has trees that are falling over into the creek. It's overgrown. Those are the conditions on both sides of my son's property, okay? But, you know, code enforcement is, you gotta have that engineer sign off on it. What happened to common sense? I'm an engineer too, okay? I base my career on common sense solutions, all right? Just because you need a piece of paper, I can't believe that you know, this couldn't be addressed without having to hire a landowner to have to hire an engineer the size of pipe, and this thing is way oversized right now, okay? So that's basically what I wanted to talk about, okay? And again, it's you 5 guys that are in charge of what I consider to be the code. Mr. Masters and his team enforces the code. You guys have the ability to make special conditions, okay, adopt certain things, accept certain things, okay? But you have to be willing to do that, okay? You can't use the excuse that we can't do something, because it really is, we won't do something. We won't take a look at it. We won't adopt. We won't give you a break, okay? I think that is something that you guys really have to consider, all right? Because there are other people in this town that have similar situations that you know, or businesses, people that want to come into this town. You need to have some way of allowing them, okay? Now, I don't know if it's a matter of, this I thought I had. You know, you have pointed out all this commercial property that is designated to the town. None of it is for sale. So it might be interesting if board, or if you as the supervisor, send a letter to these owners and saying, hey, we're looking for some commercial property for people that are interested in coming into our town. You know, would you be willing to step forward and sell anything? You know, not that the town would buy it, but just that the landowners would be aware that somebody may want to buy their piece of property. They may not even know that it's zoned industrial or commercial or whatever, okay? But if none of those people want to sell any of that, then the other avenue is for you guys to be able to say, okay, a transitional area, or like, you know, the other end of Langdon, where my son originally wanted to buy 30 acres, you know, say, no, we're gonna rezone it, or have a special use for whatever, okay, in that area. Those are things that I think that you need to consider going down the road. And you guys can just blow me off as, you know, here I am speaking again about this, but it's in your 5 guys' hands, all right?
Mm-hmm.
In your hands. Don't say can't. Don't say won't either, okay? Say we will try to do something.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Murnier. Would anybody else like to speak on any other topic?
I
only have a couple grievances. By grievances, I mean accolades. I would like to, Mike Townsend, 877 Escarpment Drive. Give accolades to the Highway Department for blacktopping of the bicycle trail on the Parkway. They did a great job. Appreciate you guys doing that. I ride that bike trail all the time. The other thing is the Boy Scout camp that you guys are purchasing. When I learned about that, that's the most beautiful property in the town as far as I'm concerned. The ponds and the mature trees. Just a gorgeous piece of property. You guys did a great job. I appreciate you looking into that and getting hold of that. Boy Scouts left it in great shape with the buildings and such. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, moving on. Department head statements. Donna, anything?
Yes, I do. At the last month's meeting, you asked that a letter be sent to New York State and Niagara County regarding the traffic study at the intersection of New York State Route 104 and Dickersonville Road. The town did receive a letter from them thanking us for our recent inquiry regarding the potential safety issues at the intersection of Route 104 and Dickersonville in the town of Lewiston. The engineering investigation has already been initiated to review this request. At the conclusion of our investigation, they will advise us of their findings. So they had already started before we even asked. And then in your packet, I supplied you with a bid for some we would like to have done in the middle of the main part of the hall. So the removal of a storage room that then will allow the clerks to all be in one central area and be able to kind of basically take care of everybody when they walk in the door, no matter what it is that they need. Did reach out to 6 different general contractors. And the letter that I had sent them did ask them if they had any questions that they could contact Ed Zimmerman in the building department. No one reached out to him. We did have one gentleman come in, and that is the only bid that we did receive. And then again on August 9th, I reached out to the other 5 contractors again, asking them if they were interested. If they weren't interested, to please let me know that they were interested, which is fine, but I got no response from any of them. So I only have this one bid to present this evening for this construction to take place. Attorney Bax was aware of what's going on and asked me to reach out to them again, which I did. So I don't really know where the town stands as far as just taking this one individual's bid.
Yeah.
This effectively it's gone out to 6 people. I'm not sure how many other people we try to bring in if we can't. If she's done the due diligence and it's only even we get the bid, I think we've done the due diligence necessary under our policy, that it can be awarded. I guess just based on the proposal that I'm seeing, I don't know whether a different style of bid proposal might solicit or get more response, but I've spoken to Donna about the 5 other contractors that she's solicited bids from. I guess if we can't get them here, this effectively is the lowest bid.
Tim, I don't have nothing. I don't know what the threshold is. The threshold is for, the bid's 26.5. You know what for our procurement policy?
25 or 30.
I think it's 30. Do you know off the top of your
I
head?
thought it was 25, and that's what I was going to offer right now to do.
Because goods and or services are more than
It's 35, so
$5,000,
it's
people are less than
yeah.
20.
I think based on what you've put on the record so far, Don, and the fact that it's a $35,000 budget, I think you're safe to move forward with it.
Okay. So I would ask for a motion to approve the bid from Swodger Construction and work with Donna. And I think, Tim, you're helping Donna on this?
That is.
That is? Okay. Ed, you ready to move forward on this? Yeah. I know Donna is. So I would look for a motion to approve the bid from Swojo Construction.
Move for approval with discussion.
Second.
You have a motion and a second, go ahead.
And Donna, in your notes, it said that this will take place in the evenings, weekends, so regular office hours will not be disrupted.
Correct.
And this gentleman agreed to that.
Correct. Yes.
That's all Supervisor.
Okay. So we have a motion. Hey, go ahead.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm sorry.
we're sure we're okay with the money.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I completely agree. And as Mr. Lennon has indicated.
Al, you have to speak up because it doesn't pick up on the mic.
We have one here.
All right.
As a matter of solicitations, we've solicited bids from 6 people. So the fact that only one has responded is.
And she reached
That's
out
the key
multiple
issue.
times.
Yes, exactly. She's reached out, and I think she's done a yeoman's job of trying to get what we require, and we just couldn't get it. So I think this is the best case scenario.
and because it's town hall, it'll be Jackie from fund balance?
So it could be, yes, so that's what you approve of.
Yeah, okay. So we have a motion and a second on the bid.
Steve, just so everybody's aware, Swoger has done work for us in the past,
Okay,
in
that's
our
what I was
parks
asking.
and our court side, and they're a well and reputable company and has worked well with the town.
Yes.
Past also.
So with that, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And would you need
We have an approval for the budget revision?
budget revision to move 26,000? Why don't we do, should we leave a little, maybe do 30,000?
I didn't see a contingency on here, so.
Okay.
You may want to increase it a little.
Yeah. How about a motion for 30,000 from our fund balance into, what,
It would be the building, equipment line.
the building equipment line? Can I get a
Is that a
motion?
motion?
Yeah, no, I'm asking for a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. Stop in and see the wonderful.
Is that it, Donna?
Yes, for that, yes.
Lieutenant Hall, I know you're on the agenda. Do you have anything else to add? No? Tim? Jackie? Deputy Supervisor Conrad, anything? Al, you're on legal. Bob, anything?
Nope.
Dan? Anything?
Nope.
Dave Train, even though we got you under the agenda, we can move you up.
I'd like permission from the board to purchase a new skid steer. Bobcat skid steer for $76,131.39. I spoke with Jackie, the money's available, and I'd like to just move forward on it as soon as possible. Yes.
And that was part of the budget?
The money is available.
Yeah. I'll make
So
the
moved.
motion.
Sorry.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
Motion carried. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
And Jackie, do you want to say where that's coming? Do we need to make any adjustments for that?
No, he currently has it available on his.
Okay, okay. Good.
What's the sit screw?
Let's get on the steer.
Melinda, Owen.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about, our seasonal labor, with how keeping them on as a year-round employee rather than just a seasonal employee.
So with this, I've looked into this. There's a couple of things we got to talk about, and we got to talk further. And I've spoken to a couple of board members about. Right now, he works 2 days a week, correct? And he does all his work in 2 days.
Yeah.
What are you proposing he would work through the winter?
Probably the same thing, only he has said he will come in and help with, additional things on days when there's a lot of snow. And I should probably say that all the departments have been wonderful with helping the senior center. But it would be wonderful if we had our own person to take care of the building. The building is big and old, and it needs someone to probably take care of it, so Bill is the man for that job.
So-
And he will help, during the winter when we need additional things.
That was one of my questions. You have on here shovel snow and salt walk as needed. He'll come in every day it snows to take care of that?
Well, no, more like when, like, it's been waist high and he'll come in on those days. We'll communicate and he'll come in.
waist high.
Yeah, it's a little tricky to get in the door when it's up to
Oh, I understand.
That's that kind of short snow shoveling. But he did discover that we have some sort of a power snow shovel thing today that actually works, so he's excited to use that. He's very enthusiastic, and whatever, we need to keep him on, 'cause he's an asset, really. I can't say enough.
So he doesn't want to work seasonally anymore, is what you're telling us?
Well, I don't want him to find something in the off season that someone can steal him away from me. I want to keep him because he's that good.
Okay.
He sees what needs to be done without me asking. Right now, he's concerned about the rotting of that beige yellow colored wood on the senior center out exterior, that whatever it is, it's not TLS 111, it's not part of the board, I'm not sure exactly what you call it, but it's all rotted and pulling away, and it's gonna look cruddy. So
Right.
he feels he can take care of that, so
Right.
let's give it a shot.
Okay, well, we have some budgeting issues and civil service issues that we need to take care of before we approve it. Obviously, he's on till October, November, so we have time, so it's something we could talk further about. Okay, thank you.
Well, and did the lights get done?
Yeah, he was
Okay.
on Friday.
Okay, thank you.
And that's it. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Jeff Ritter, are you there?
Yes, I have nothing at this time, thank you.
Okay. Kathy, Recreation Director. Kathy, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. No update tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, approval of the meeting minutes from the town board on June 27th, 2022.
Move for approval as printed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carried. Do we have the meeting minutes from July, Donna? No? Next time? That's what I was wondering. You want, should it be July? Hold on one second.
I didn't bring mine with me.
Yeah, no, hold on.
Test.
It was a test, if anybody's paying attention.
Sorry.
No, it would, you know what, it would have been, June was the 27th. July was the 25th. Okay, we'll hold off on July. Audit payment, Councilman Guyton.
Move for approval of the regular abstract of claims numbered 22-02058 through 22-02182, and recommend payment of the amount of $435,892.36, plus the post audit of $19,884.66, and regular abstract claims 22-02183 through 22-02343, and recommend the payment amount of $405,946.03, plus the post audit of $11,140.50.
Motion
Second.
is all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Councilman. Any pending or old business?
Three problems.
Donna?
So long, yeah.
Yes, but he has another abstract.
Oh, I'm sorry. You have another abstract?
No, just the two. I did.
He read them both.
I didn't get.
I'm sorry, I was looking up something, okay.
Do you want them done separate or is one?
No, that's
Okay.
Yep, pending and old business is the
Okay.
court office.
So in regards to that, I've been working with the court. They're having a problem getting a third bid. And then we're gonna give it one more try, and if not, we'll award it in our work session in September. So for now, it's gonna be tabled. New business down in residence, public correspondence?
every year, the Kiwanis Club does a 5K run during the Peach Festival. This year, they're asking to rent the pavilion at Kiwanis Park, and then they are going to run the bicycle path instead of being in the streets during the Peach Festival. So they'll be doing that on the Thursday before the Peach Festival. They did rent the reserve the Kiwanis Park for them. We did waive the $25 reservation fee, and they just want to get town board okay approval, or just let you know that that's, you know, they've changed it and it's not going to be on the streets. It's going to be right on the park.
From where will it go? Do you know?
It'll go, no, I don't, but it'll start at Kiwanis and they'll just come back to Kiwanis, and they'll stay on the path.
I know it's 2 miles, a little over 2 miles from Kiwanis to Pletcher and back. So I don't know what else they'll add to that, whether they go down Pletcher at all, but.
Move for approval as requested and waive the $25 fee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
The 2023 Niagara Falls USA Marathon, Half Marathon, and Historic Lewiston 5K is going to be held on Friday, April 28th, 2023. They just want the town board to give approval so they can move forward with all the different other approvals that they need to ask for from the state.
Same thing, we need a motion on that?
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and just to add to that, they work with the police department
Yeah.
and the chief and the supervisors
And the
there.
other municipalities.
Yeah, all the way to Porter, and I think they ended Porter on the Lake, so.
On the lake, yeah.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Supervisor Broderick liaison report, the legal for the Saturn, well, let me start with the addition of the fire company. So Lewiston number 2 Fire Company, they have a addition, Joshua, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Waney, 1311 Saunders Settlement Road, add to the roster of Lewiston Fire Company number 2.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Legal. Councilman Bax,
Sure.
or Attorney Bax?
Yeah, there are 2 documents in front of you, 2 agreements. One is for Saturn Power, Kilmer Solar Host Community Agreement. That's been circulated amongst you. I've gone back and forth a number of times, and the representatives from Saturn Power are here in the audience today. At least with your approval, I would just make a motion for that to be approved. We'll provide the original to the representative from Saturn Power for their signature, and obviously they can get started with the project.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Al, would you specifically lay out the motion? Just say it.
And just make a motion for the supervisor to, make a motion to approve and authorize the supervisor to sign the host community agreement with Saturn Power.
Well, there'll be 2 motions then.
You can do it in 2 motions, sir.
So the first motion's still.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then second, authorize the supervisor to sign.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then thirdly, on this particular one, there is an issue with the IDA, the Niagara County IDA. We want to authorize the supervisor to send a letter of support in favor of the project now that we've negotiated.
With which project?
The Saturn.
Saturn, which is Kilmer Solar LLC?
Exactly.
Okay.
I'll make that motion that supervisor sends that letter.
If you recall, several months ago, if not a year ago, we had asked that they hold off on providing the methods until we were able to negotiate this.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
And then, Mr. Supervisor, if you need help drafting that, or I can draft up a little something simple for you to sign off on this.
Okay.
The second one is for the Niagara University Solar Pilot Agreement. It's Niagara University, it's Niagara
Road Solar?
Niagara Road Solar is what it was. Again, that's been negotiated. New terms were developed as late as this afternoon, which this restructured the payments to a $3,000 per kilowatt hour, similar to our other host community agreement. and an upfront payment. So that's before you just to approve it and then authorize the supervisor to execute.
I'll make the motion that we approve this. Can we do it in one or two?
We'll do it too. We'll do it too. So we have a motion,
Second.
motion and a second. Any questions? For motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
And I'll make a motion that we authorize the supervisor to sign said agreement.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And I just want to say, Al, what a great job you did on this.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know you worked hard. I know it's new territory, but I appreciate, what you've done for that.
Thank you. We got a couple more to go, so.
Yeah.
At least now we have a couple on the book.
Yes, okay.
Lastly, there's a local law that Mr. Seaman had proposed or forwarded with respect to our current zoning to make an amendment for the PUD that we had on for public hearing today. So basically, to revise our zoning or zoning law to authorize or to allow for the development that's proposed by Legacy.
So as I understand, we're just presenting a local law, and then we need to schedule a public hearing.
Yep, it's on for your consideration, and then if one of you wants to move for a public hearing,
Okay.
we should do that tonight.
Do we need to read the local law, or just have it presented to the town clerk, and she can post it on our
I
website?
think that's sufficient.
Okay.
There's no need to really, there's not much to it other than rezoning those particular lots
Okay.
to support the project. And then the rest of it seems like it's just a legal description of the actual property.
Okay, so it's a local law, the zoning to incorporate a plan unit development. The public hearing down at, would 2 weeks be, or the work
12th.
session be
It's
good
the
enough?
12th, September
Yeah.
12th.
But is that enough time?
No, local law, it needs to be in the paper at least 15 days prior to the meeting.
So we will do it on the 9th, whoops,
26th.
the 26th?
Is it called in here, or is it just me?
So we will schedule a public hearing on September 26th at 6 PM for the local law.
That will be posted on the internet.
Yeah, and in the
And in
paper,
the
in the
newspaper.
documents, so.
Any motion?
Yes. I'll make the motion to have the
Second.
public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And you have a copy of that, right? Okay. With that, Saturn Power dedication. So, the sanitary sewer line extension, Fletcher and Creek Road. Bob, you want to handle that?
Certainly, Mr. Supervisor, yeah, I would ask the board to consider dedication of that sewer. The sewer starts basically at Mr. Brott's property there near Creek and the entrance to the high school, Gerald Johnson Drive, heads south down to Fletcher, takes a left-hand turn for 20 or 30 feet. I think all in it's about 1,145 feet of 8-inch diameter sewer. All I compared the notebooks, the bonds are, or the maintenance bond is in there, the certification, the test results are all in there. I spoke to Mr. Ritter, he is more than fine with the project and to recommend dedication as well of that project.
Move to accept the dedication. of
Second.
Said
We have a
project.
motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And I know that's a long process. It's been
I
taken
thought it
care
was
of.
something new.
No, no. He's been working on that a while. Is that it, Bob?
That's it, Mr. Supervisor, yes.
Okay, finance, Jackie, now, budget revisions?
In your board package, you received request to process both 2021 and 2022 budget revisions, and I ask for your approval to process it.
Move to approve as presented.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I also wanted to state that our 2023 budget production is underway. All the department heads have received copies of their budgets to begin working, compiling data for those. We also went out to bond on our water project, and we had to go through Moody's for a rating opinion, and happy to say that the town of Lewiston is maintaining their capital A, lower A3 financial rating, which is very stable.
That was always good news. Thank you.
If this guy falls.
And the last thing, A1 Land Care is in the process right now of putting in our park pavilion. And we were gonna put in a concrete walkway running north-south over to our drive. And I was down there with Mr. Masters, and we walked it with Dave was with Jason Lombardi. And it was determined that that was gonna block flow of the water. So we changed it, we went with an east-west design for a sidewalk to go from our new pavilion over to the handicap spots, which requires more concrete and a change order. So I showed everybody, I would like to make a proposal or make a motion for a change order in the amount of $23,075 to install additional sidewalk from pavilion to the handicap parking lot by the water, approximately 230 linear feet.
Second.
With motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And I think we have enough in that account to cover that. Yeah. So. And for anybody that hasn't driven down there, I know Dave Trains, they put the technically binder.
Yeah, the binder done.
Yeah.
They'll top it next year after all the construction's done.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not open yet to the public, but if you want to drive down there and take a look at it, I know I caught Mr. Chrisman driving down there one day. He may not know I caught him driving down there. So, yeah, you got it, right? So, it's coming along, never as quick as we expect, but it is a nice piece of property, and we're looking forward to it. So,
Any update on the windows for the alcohol? Anybody?
Mid-September.
until it changes.
That's what we live in today.
Yeah, well, the good news is we got a door delivered today for the Sanborn, well, it's our storage facility at the bathroom there, so.
And the bathroom partitions.
They came in?
Came last
Yeah.
week.
Okay, good. So that's getting done. And I saw Mrs. Warren over the weekend, and she commended us again on the work that's been done at the bathroom up there. So, yeah, it's coming along. Let's see here. That's done. Councilman Guyton, liaison report.
I have a letter of resignation. It is with regret that I must submit my resignation as senior van driver for the Lewiston Senior Center due to disability issues. I will no longer be able to continue driving for the center. It's been a pleasure to assist the seniors of Lewiston and work with my co-workers for these past 4 years. Signed Randy Gorski, and moved to accept his resignation with regret. He was truly an asset. He's just a nice gentleman, brings a lot to the center.
He was.
Should we have a motion?
Second.
One motion and a second. I just want to add that he absolutely added a lot to the center, and he was the guy that absolutely enjoyed driving at the senior center. I think he got more of a kick out of it than the seniors did, so he will be missed. Yeah, so we're still looking for a driver, right? Yeah, so if anybody knows of a driver, Brian Chrisman.
Dave Train.
We can use a senior center driver who will have a lot of fun with the seniors. It really is a rewarding position.
And the other item is we have to post a opening for the senior center van driver, and that's a motion to post that.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
I'm in and out of the senior center all the time with the different activities with which I participate, and that's a hopping place for a senior center. There's many, many activities going on, and I see the staff has to hustle as one activity is finishing, and they have to get ready for the next one. We'll clean furniture off, clean tabletops, move things around, get ready for the next activity. It is very active. I recommend that anybody who's 55 and older stop by, introduce themselves to Melinda, she'll give them a tour, and Brian, you want to get involved with that too? So, if anybody can stop by and see what's going on, it's quite nice. But if you are just a visitor, please make sure you stop at the office and introduce yourself. That's it, Mr. Supervisor, thank you.
Councilman Jacoby, liaison report.
Yeah, well, as we stated earlier, we were gonna do Wilco Auto Care and LNK, but that's, what we had to do with it, we did. So we put that off, but Mr. Supervisor, I'd like to, point out one thing about the Wilco Auto Care. The gentleman who spoke earlier, he mentioned that the compressors kick on in the middle of the night. And
Can I address that, please? Make it clear.
Yeah, speak up.
this was last summer. Right. When he was actually using the drone, not this summer. No, I just wanna, it would seem like a easy sentence to put in there for them to shut off their compressors at night, when they're, especially when they're not using it. It's got a tiny leak, it kicks on, mine does it. And, just something, the rest that you said about is being addressed.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But real annoying, John, because I had a body shop for years, and we replaced ours about 7 years ago. The new compressors are whisper quiet.
Really?
You could talk right next to it, and so it might be a case where he's in a noise ordinance, he's gonna have to either make an investment or put it somewhere else. That could be real. I know what you're talking about, because our old compressor, you couldn't even talk or hear the radio when it turned on. But that's something we'll have to look into.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And then, we have 4 moves within the police department. We have, I'll do one at a time. Josh moved from part-time to full-time, effective today. And that'll be, his pay will be as per the contract. We have Nick Paul, and he's moving from part-time to full-time, effective 9/19/22.
Let's make a motion for the 2 full-time hires, and then we'll do the
Okay,
part-timers.
yeah, I make a motion that we make those 2 moves, for the 2 full-time.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
And to fill their spots, basically, we're going to hire 2 part-time officers. Rebecca Braytech, it's B-R-A-T-E-C, and she's going to be hired part-time. And the other is John Panzotti, you know how to spell that. And he'll be going part-time. And I'd like to make a motion that those 2 moves be made
As of today.
as of today.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. And it'll be according to the contract as
Yes.
well. We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
That's all I got.
Councilman Morial.
Yes, the first thing on the agenda is a president had a pool and he's asking for sewer credit. It is Ronan O'Leary of 4370 Autumn Lane. He's asking for a sewer credit of $122.70. And Jeff looked it over and it was okay. I'd just like to make a motion to accept.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, the next on my agenda is the building department clerk. The town building department held interviews during the month of August and recommends that you approve the hire of Lisa Wisniewski of 5992 Klein Road, Niagara Falls, with the starting date of September 19th, 2022 for the building department clerk position. The hire will be according per the union contract. That's a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And that went through civil service as well, just to do that. Just to
Okay.
mention that.
Okay. The next one is one I didn't want to read, but I'm going to read it. Board, please accept the formal notice of my resignation, retirement from the Town of Lewiston Highway Superintendent, effective Monday, August 2nd, 2022. It has truly been an honor to work with each of you to serve the residents of our beautiful town. Thank you for your support and opportunities extended to me through the 6 years of my term. The experience and knowledge gained during my time as superintendent has helped me grow both personally and professionally. This decision weighs heavily on me. While I'm looking forward to retirement, it is tough leaving my fellow co-workers who have become like family. I wish nothing but continued growth and success for the town and its employees, as well as call Lewiston home. With gratitude, David Train.
So that's a motion with regret.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I want to say something about this. So I want to go back a little bit, so bear with me. So Dave Train and he ran as a Democrat for highway superintendent, and I ran as my first year as a Republican for town supervisor. Dave, night of the election, won the election by, I believe, 4 votes. It was 3 or 4 votes. They did a recount, and Dave lost the election, I think, by 7 votes. Dave lived with it, didn't fight, we didn't go to court, we didn't do anything. He accepted it. He came to me probably right after the first of the year and said, I just want to get involved with the town of Lewiston. Anything I can do, I'd like to help out. Didn't ask for money, didn't ask for a job, just asked to help out. So sadly, our highway superintendent passed away, and I called Dave. And everybody, you know, with the way politics are today, everybody's Republican, everybody's Democrat. But this board, which was Republican, I believe 4-1 at the time, saw what was right. And we named Dave Train our highway superintendent. And it's been a relationship that's been strong, and I can say that a lot of towns, their biggest problem is some of their supervisors or some of their highway superintendents don't get along. I'm not telling anybody anything that you don't know. It just happens. They fight. Never had a problem, never had an issue. I just do what he says, that's all. So I thank him, and I hope he appreciates what we did for him. I appreciate what he did for us. And I look forward to continuing the relationship outside of the political world. So I gained a friend with Dave and his wife Lori, and I look forward to spending more time with Dave and Lori. That's all I have to say.
Mr. Supervisor, I'd like to say one thing.
Okay.
You know, I've received compliments about you my entire time on the board. And most recently, this was the most rewarding one. The guy who lived on Sweet Home, you stayed in Sweet Home recently? Well, he said that your guys were important, did a fantastic job. And he had some problem with moving a car or something. He had occasion to go out and talk to him. And he couldn't say enough nice things about your members of the highway department. And he specifically said, make sure you tell Dave Train. I think this is within your time. Thanks.
I just want to say, Dave and I grew up a block away from each other as kids. We ran together, and it's been a pleasure, Dave, working 6 years with you here. So, thank you.
The only thing I want to add to John Jacoby is he obviously doesn't spend enough time here, because I've handled a few complaints about that goes into territory. So, anybody else?
Well, I just have enjoyed the last year's bantering with Dave over the different issues, and I appreciate all he's done for the town, and I look forward to him being an advisor and getting the swing put on the River Road Park for my retirement.
I'm making sure of that.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Highway Superintendent Mitch possesses the skills and knowledge necessary to fulfill the role by also receiving the support and respect of his co-workers. He will utilize the necessary manpower and available resources to ensure that town's benefits are top priority. I trust without any doubt Mitch will excel in this position and pursue his own term during the next election process. Sincerely, David Tring.
Is that a motion?
Well, yeah, that's a motion. Second. Mitch, you want to stand up and?
A motion and a second. Anybody have any questions? Anybody want to put any pressure on Mitch before?
I need your second.
Before we put him on, any guarantees?
State the wage? Because it's-
Won't be according to the salary schedule. It'll stay the same. Yeah. So we have a motion and a second to promote Mitch Zano to Town of Lewiston Highway Superintendent. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Welcome aboard a little bit higher. And just so everybody knows, Mitch is already works for the Highway Department. And how long have you been here?
4 years.
4 years. So we look forward to working with you. So.
The next thing I have is, we have 83 decorative lights in the town. They're not, we're working to get them transferred to LED lights. Everything's gonna stay the same, just the lighting is gonna be changed. And, the National Grid gave us a quote for $23,219.18. We have to pay for it, and we have an NYSERDA grant, so the town became a clean energy community, and they gave us a $5,000 grant, so we're gonna use that grant to bring this down, and we're gonna reimburse us $4,100 after we pay it and the lighting's it's installed. So basically, it's gonna cost about $16,000 lights. So I'm gonna need a motion, because Jackie's gonna have to send a check to them to get this in motion.
So that's a motion?
It's a motion.
Second?
Motion and a second, and just so you know, before, the balance will come out of our H98 NIPA 6.5 megawatt fund, which we can use towards this purchase, so.
Okay.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
And last, we have a development off of Boston Drive, and there's a street that comes out from Essex Homes that goes on to Bronson. And in the original plans, I don't know how we missed it, but one fence was put on this. There's no fence. And I'd like to put out the bid to see, it's on town property, what it would cost to put a fence on the other side. So
Matching
matching it,
fence, yeah.
to make it uniform. And I'd like to make a motion to go out and get bids for a fence on the north side, south side.
We have a motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay.
That's it for me.
And Councilman Myers, anything?
Nothing additional.
Nothing additional? Resident statements. Would anybody like to follow anything up? Okay. Upcoming board commission meetings. Board work session, September 12th at 6 p.m. Historic preservation is September 13th at 5:45 p.m. Environmental Commission, September 13th at 7 p.m. Zoning Board of Appeals, September 8th at 6:30 p.m. Planning Board, September 15th, 6:30 p.m. And the regular town board on September 26th at 6 p.m. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Wear a Lewiston shirt.